From the perspective of movie art, all movies are inherently the art of framing. As a classic technique in movie making, frame within a frame is used by directors to express different ideas and emotions. When discussing movie techniques, frame-in-frame composition is an important topic that deserves in-depth analysis. Frame-in-frame composition, in short, is the use of door frames, window frames, car windows, balconies, staircases, and corridors as foreground layouts, and then arranging subjects in these frames, so that the whole picture forms a frame, and the subject forms a border with the surrounding environment. It may even appear in the background or in bright light. The most commonly used compositional shapes are square and rectangular compositions, with triangles and circles not uncommon. Our everyday life is often dominated by geometric shapes. These compositions give us a sense of visual harmony. The frame within a frame does a lot more by harmonizing both the foreground and the background at the same time. The frame within a frame extends the depth of the picture. Thanks to this compositional technique, the image naturally conveys a sense of balance, while at the same time being vivid and aesthetically pleasing. The frame within a frame can limit the information received by the viewer. If the camera uses the doorway as a frame, and the lens penetrates into the room instead of placing the camera in the room, the viewer can only look at the room through the doorway. This composition not only cleverly utilizes the geometric shapes in the picture, but also guides the viewer's eyes through the structure of a frame within a frame to enhance the hierarchy and depth of the picture. This composition not only skillfully utilizes the limited space of the movie screen, but also provides the audience with a new perspective through the introduction of the frame, guiding them to explore the deeper meaning behind the picture. In terms of visual effect, the frame within a frame composition enhances the hierarchy and spatial sense of the screen through the division and nesting of the frame, making the movie screen more three-dimensional and vivid. At the same time, the frame itself also becomes a part of the picture, and the main content reflects each other, together constituting the unique visual style of the movie. Frame within a frame can be used to isolate the characters from the outside world, can make the characters be isolated in the frame, can make the picture more eye-catching, and can show the helplessness of people when facing the cruel world. It can separate characters, or connect them. It can visually enhance the picture by eliminating the space taken up by the framing of the composition. Sometimes the frame within a frame can also be used as a symbol to express inner thoughts and feelings or opportunities. In The Bicycle Thief, the thief is surrounded by his friends and family, forming a protective circle that emphasizes Antonio's helpless and difficult situation. And the narrow window and large white space add to the despair of Antonio's half-hidden face. The next few shots push this despair over the top, and in the background of this one, an interior composition appears between the two characters. We can see a woman with a child slowly closing the window, while the bike thief sheriff bike stealer explains to Antonio that there is nothing more he can do. When I watched Wong Kar-wai's films, I got the impression that every 5 minutes and every shot in the movie was a frame within a frame, meaning that every shot with a character in it was not only under the frame of the movie camera itself, but also within a smaller frame within the camera. This is a visual processing technique that movie directors have been using for decades. The hero and heroine of the movie have a relationship that goes against their morals, and they are constantly being watched by those around them, which is why everything is in a frame within a frame. These frame within a frame shots, it directs the viewer's attention to a smaller separate component in the center of the screen. Paul Thomas Anderson has experimented a lot with frame-in-frame compositions, his frame-in-frame images, mixing in images of various scales. He also constructs frame-in-frame compositions using naturalistic scenes and placing actors in them. Anderson uses this to take us out of individual situations and compare them side by side. When characters are placed in such frames, a marvelous phenomenon occurs. The images become very interesting, and whether the viewer identifies emotionally with the character or is simply a spectator, these frames are like canvases. They are where the image belongs. Brings us ever closer to the characters at the center of the composition. At other times, it moves us away from the characters at the center of the composition. He wants the viewer to understand these frame within a frame shots as a kind of human spectacle, constrained by the environment. It is as if we are witnessing this, rather than watching a work of fiction. On a special note, paintings in movies can also constitute frames within frames. Paintings in movies are often multi-layered, important elements that enrich the narrative, deepen character development, and enhance the overall aesthetic and thematic experience. When paintings are depicted in movies, they create nested visual hierarchies. This hierarchy not only engages the viewer's eye, but also directs the focus to specific elements in the painting. By framing a painting within the framework of a movie, a director can highlight key details, symbols, or messages in a work of art that are relevant to the story. In movies, paintings are often powerful symbols or metaphors. They can represent ideas, emotions, or themes that are difficult to convey through dialogue or action. The use of frame-within-a-frame compositions in today's popular films is not as prevalent as it was in the past, because shots are now processed shorter and faster, making it difficult to fit internal compositions into the audiovisual effects of the movie. But it's a tense technique that deserves to be used widely.